I don't want to call it beef going on here, but former NBA All-Star Brandon Jennings had some comments about Jayson Tatum. Now, on this podcast, and all of folks' podcast who listen for the last couple of years know that Jayson Tatum for me is a little bit of a complicated bird in a sense, and how we rate him as a top 5 player, this kind of thing. And I've always said that he has top 5 talent, but there's something missing. There's no dog in him. So Brandon Jennings had some comments. He shared on the you mentioned earlier. I'm not mistaken. Is this the
Arenas podcast?
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah. And he had some words about Jayson Tatum on the show. I'm gonna play this clip real quick of what he had to say here.
So tough, why you didn't get Finals MVP last year? Why you let your running mate do it? If you so tough, if you so all this,
but you led in every category.
Why you didn't get it? Why you didn't get it? Why you didn't get it? Why you didn't get it?
Yo, is he the softest Boston Celtics superstar ever?
That's being crash out time.
No, I'm not champion like that.
Hey, watching the game the other day when they lost to Cleveland. That was with the capital or lower case.
What do we know about Boston Celtics players? Like anybody that put on us Boston Celtics, like jersey from the 80s on up. The cutthroat, right?
Yeah.
Who? Oh, here's they cutthroat.
No, they was not.
Cutthroat.
Them niggas doing the shimmy, chucking threes, doing this shit.
Does Tatum get punished because the Celtics squad is so good?
I just think his running mate Jaylen Brown is more like I'll be more afraid of Jaylen Brown than Jayson Tatum.
Wow.
I love Tatum. I've been a Tatum fan, but watching him lately, it's not aggressive, bruh. It's too quiet. It's too laid back. He's too laid back.
You know what's laid back?
Brown gonna get to it.
Until your ass got out there and had to guard it.
Yeah.
Shit look cool till you got to guard it.
Different.
Yeah.
All right, your thoughts on that, man? Because again, this dude, it's complicated because I can see the Jennings' point. I can see that was Nick Young, I think, also too on that episode. I can see his point too, also, because he's very demure, I guess we'll call that, very calm, very level-headed. He reminds me of a guy named Tim Duncan, though, who's also a top 10 guy for the record.
Would you say him and Dame have the same temperament?
Dame Lillard and Tatum? I can say that's a little bit accurate, yeah.
Dame Lillard, Tatum, and Tim Duncan.
Right, and Tim Duncan didn't get that kind of I'll say it, disrespect. I said it entering the year. I'm not sure it was with you on the show, but how strange it was to see a NBA champion or championship team in the Celtics. And granted, we understand how they won their titles last year and the breaks they got, but so disrespected. Tatum especially getting disrespected, not just with not getting Finals MVP, but also barely playing in the Olympics. He was on the roster, but he barely played. And then just the way we've all talked about him. And I've always said that, yeah, it's a little frustrating because he has top 5 talent, but he's not quite, in my opinion, a top 5 guy. And it might be because of the fact he has no dog in him, I guess. I don't know. But should that matter if he's given the results? He won a title last year. He's averaging 30 a game, or close to it right now. He's doing his job. He's just not flashing the same way. Are we a little too harsh on the guy? Does Jennings have a point that he's the softest Celtic of all time?
I mean, the point. Shout out to BJ, Brandon Jennings. Yep. He shared his opinion. Is his point valid? I don't know, because you want him. The statement was you want him to win Finals MVP. That was a statement. Right. Brandon Jennings was like he's soft because he didn't win Finals MVP. And I'm confused about that. We're talking about let's put this all into perspective. Brandon, you're talking about a guy who won a championship. Brandon, you're talking about a guy who averages currently 27, 9, and 5 on 45% from the field. You're talking about a guy who's 26. You're talking about a guy who's on the second best team in the East. So when you say maybe he says, I don't see killer. I don't see, aggression. I don't see that's cool. That's cool. We're going to find out if it's needed to win championships.
Well, I mean, it has won. So,
right. Right. So Brandon, God bless. I don't know if, they win another chip. Jaylen Brown wins another Finals MVP. You're going to say Jayson Tatum is soft again? Okay, God bless. 2 rings to 0. What we talking about here? You're talking about soft, but all I see is a guy who makes plays. All I see a guy who defends. Shout out to Dallas. Okay, this is a guy who's soft. Let me tell you how soft Jayson Tatum is. He's so soft, he was defending fours. Dallas, the 4. Who's the 4?
Is it Lively? No,
PJ Washington.
Yeah.
He's not supposed to defend PJ Washington at all. Not supposed to be able to. But he's doing that. He was doing that last year. Dallas and Boston got away with it. That's how they won a chip. How is that not a killer? How? That somebody would be like, oh, you got to guard a foot. Like, no. I only guard threes. No. Obviously, we already know about Jaylen Brown defending the best wing every series.
Yeah.
Every series. Darius Garland. Then he defended obviously he defended Luka, defended Kyrie. He defended Jalen Brunson. Okay? So whether I'm not going to poo-poo his opinion, Brandon Jennings. It's his opinion. That's how he feels. But I'm asking Brandon, why does it matter? Because Dame doesn't give you emotion. Dame doesn't hoot and holler. Tim Duncan never hooted and hollered.
Yeah, I think people are so used to and they're fixated on the way, that there's only one way to win titles, and the way that Jordan did it or Kobe did it is the only way to do it. And I'm sorry, I think that's wrong.
No, I mean, yeah, I mean, you say it's wrong, but I mean, Golden State. I mean, whether you say Draymond or Fear, whatever, what have you.
Let me not say wrong. Wrong word to use. It's narrow-minded to think that that's the only way to do it. Magic Johnson smiled to 5 titles.
I mean, and Kareem was the killer.
Yeah, right. I mean,
Kareem was the killer.
Steph Curry shimmied his ass to 4 titles.
Draymond was the killer.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, we and the players we're mentioning were the best players on those teams for the record. But they had other guys. So in this scenario, Tatum 1 title, Jaylen Brown killer.
Again, that's why I'm asking Brandon what's the end all be all, because if he's not a killer, which you're suggesting that he is, he's only won 1 title and is on the second best team in the East.
And again, I can understand what he's coming from, because he's frustrating, because he does have those. He has moments where he will not melt down, but he'll
kind of like shade into the background.
Right.
Totally agree.
Right.
Totally shading into the background. Say that. Saying he needs to win NBA Finals MVP because that will establish him as the tough guy. I'm like,
right. And Steph Curry didn't get his first Finals MVP until his 4th title, which and before then he was already considered top 10 player. So
whether it's Iguodala, whether it was Kevin Durant, it's just like,
right.
We all know it was a team effort. We all know this guy was the one that for the last 4 games played very well. But if it wasn't for that guy and Steph, we wouldn't freaking be here. So the concept, if it wasn't for Jalen Brunson and Jayson Tatum, Boston would be nowhere.
There you go.
You know? So yeah, it's very interesting. The disrespect. I think him and Trae Young, probably the most disrespected people in the NBA.